Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Happy Friday! We made it a whole week. Yay! Hope you guys had a beautiful week, and hopefully you've been doing the meditations that we've been sharing, and we look forward to hearing your feedback about that because it's really exciting to share it. So we want to know if you're receiving them in a way that's beneficial and helpful to you, or if there's any other meditations on anything, because the Kundalini Yoga tradition has meditations for everything that you wish to work on or experience. Let us know, and we're happy to look into it. And if we don't already know it, learn it and share it with you.
Mm-hmm. So today we'd like to talk with you about crystals, and just we've been bringing more and more of this earth consciousness into our daily practice after receiving dreams, having crystals in our dreams, and so just we wanted to talk with you about crystals.
It's been really beautiful. I've never really connected with crystals. I've done work with different elements of the earth, but crystals were one that I've always had a challenge with connecting to. And it started, as Ram Krishans said, with dreams. So we've been incorporating more and more crystals, and it's been a really beautiful opportunity to connect with the consciousness of the crystals and really become receptive enough to listen to the subtle language that with which they're communicating with us, with all of life is communicating with us, but the crystals really help to open up that part of our consciousness which is more subtle and which is more receptive, so that we can not only tune in to the crystals but different elements and different parts of life as well.
So crystals are essentially, they are the physical embodiment of different types of energy, universal energies. And there are countless different types of crystals that you find out there. And essentially, it's just a vibration um, that exists somewhere on our planet. And that vibration begins to organize different atoms. And molecules begin to come into a structural pattern, and that forms a crystal, which all different types of crystals have their own unique shapes, their characteristics, color, shape, their texture, their hardness or softness. It all is dependent. There are countless different varieties, and every different crystal embodies a different quality, essentially, of nature. And by working with crystals and just bringing the crystal into your life, it begins to bring those qualities into your life as well. In a very subtle way, it vibrates, it emits a signature of that structural pattern, which is the physical representation of a non physical um, energy. And like Ram Krishan Kar was saying, that is its own consciousness. It's alive. It's like a living being in its own form of consciousness, which is mineral consciousness, which is different than human being. It's different than animal. It's different than plant. It's mineral level of consciousness. So by becoming aware that these little crystals, these little guys have their own consciousness and intelligence and language, and starting to tune into it consciously through meditations or through dream states, you can really learn a tremendous amount of information which is literally stored inside the crystals.
Yeah, the different crystals have different grooves and markings on them, and from what I understand, because I'm very new to this, is that is actually language. That, as Ram Krishan Singh was explaining to me one day, even just running your finger over it, your mind might not understand what the language is, but your being understands it. Your spirit understands it, and it brings it in to your consciousness, and you learn from it just by even having that very subtle connection with it, even just by running your fingers over them. So this is really fun and exciting to me because it's very new, and the communication is very subtle, but it's so profound. And although the mind has to catch up with what's happening, your whole being feels it, and it's really incredible to experience it.
Hmm.
So
Hmm. So we've been doing meditations every morning. Ram Krishan Kaur was saying how she was interested in learning more about crystals and integrating somehow into our daily routine working with crystals. So we started doing a morning meditation practice, and we'll share that on Monday together, the meditation. But essentially, it's just tuning in with your body's intelligence and consciousness. That's the rhythm and the patterns that your body is following. So you just listen to your body, go deep into that awareness, and then tune into the crystal's consciousness, which is operating in a similar way of the body consciousness. And then hold the crystal in your hand and just become aware of what changes take place and what subtlety your awareness goes to. So, what has been your experience in doing these meditations?
well, it's been what I've been sharing about, just becoming more receptive to the subtle communication that's happening, but also to being able to feel the presence and the consciousness of the crystals in a very subtle way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as I said, I'm still new to this. I'm still learning a lot every time that we sit to meditate, but it's really it's a profound but subtle difference. I all I can keep saying, because I feel it. I can't necessarily understand it and explain it through my
Yeah,
mind, but I do feel it.
yeah, yeah.
It's been really cool. And just the thought that this little
Show
crystal,
them your crystal.
this is a Lemurian seed, a red with a red tip, and for some reason I'm drawn to the Lemurian seeds. I'm still learning the qualities, so maybe by Monday I'll be able to share with you what the qualities of these are. But just to think that all the wisdom of the earth in different ways are stored in these crystals, and we could access that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why wouldn't we want to, as human beings on this earth, extensions of Mother Earth? Why wouldn't we want to learn from the other beings that are present? You know,
Mm-hmm.
the plant beings and the crystal beings. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm very excited about it, as
Mm-hmm.
you can see.
Mm-hmm. So I've been working with crystals for over 10 years, and even before that, actually all through my childhood. Wow, I guess my whole life I've had crystals, but more consciously working with them for about 10 years, and primarily meditating with them. That means going into meditations, but also holding crystals. But I also learned in Peru how to work with the crystals for healing and using different crystals for to represent different elements, and then just infusing those crystals with that energy of each of the element and helping to do healings with people who were imbalanced in certain ways or use that element to purify and cleanse a certain energy from their being. But crystals are one of the levels of consciousness. There you have mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom, human. There's what's called Deva or angelic realm, and what's called Brahmas, like the creator consciousness, or like God consciousness. Or actually, that's not God consciousness. That's a different level of consciousness. But the mineral kingdom, we have the capability, still in our human level of consciousness, of expanding our awareness to encompass not just the human, but the animal, the plant, and the mineral. And that's the deepest level of our consciousness, and that's the level of our physical body awareness as well, like from the physical level. So by learning how to communicate with the crystals, it's essentially expanding our consciousness to understand the infinite wisdom that's stored within each of the crystals. And like Ram Krishan Kaur was saying, all of the information of the earth is in the crystals because the energy is from the earth, and that energy is like the signature of the earth and being stored in crystalline form. That is an intelligence, it's a language, it's wisdom, encoded information. That when we work with the crystal, we go deeper and deeper into decoding, and our consciousness becomes aware of it and starts to attune to those patterns of nature.
Yeah.
So, are you going to say something?
No.
Okay. So, it's just a really exciting study. It's the crystals, and yes, you can read books, and I encourage anyone who really wants to know a crystal to just meditate with it every day, carry it along with them, but work with one crystal at a time. Oh yeah, it's okay. So we apologize for any,
Background noise.
but work with your crystal every day. Carry it with you. Find one that you are called to. Maybe you go to a crystal store. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say the same thing. It's like just go into a crystal store and just see what like is basically calling your attention, because that's a fun way to just be open. That's already you establishing a communication with that crystal. It's like saying, here I am, work with me, I want to work with you. So if you listen to that and you bring it home and you start meditating with it, then yeah, you'll probably receive a lot more than you could out of a book.
Yeah. Yeah, a book will tell you intellectually the properties of the crystals. However, what I found is books contradict themselves. You look at two different sources, you find two different sets of information. Sometimes they're similar, but many times they're different. And the books are just the intellectual level. So you're going to have a crystal in your hand, and the book knowledge will put a label. You won't even be able to see the actual properties of the crystal because your mind is telling you this is a crystal that is healing my past lives,
Yeah.
because the book tells you that. But what is true about it is open your eyes and use your senses to understand what the crystal is actually communicating and what the crystal's property and purpose in this world actually is, which is serving a purpose. It's just so much fun.
Yeah, and the thing is to be open to receiving like the subtle communication that's happening. You really can't engage your mind. So as Ram Krishans was saying, like if you get into ideas that this crystal is doing this, then when you go to meditate with it, even if you're not aware of it, your mind is going to be trying to find like how is the crystal doing that thing that it said it's supposed to do, instead of just allowing yourself to sit with it and see and learn slowly through your own experience what the crystals are actually doing.
Yeah. So we're gonna share meditation on Monday with the crystals. And please, if anyone has any questions, again, we continue to encourage you to ask questions. It's not limited to the Sikh faith or Kundalini yoga. There's an infinite amount of information out there. We're just talking about little bits as they come to bubble into our awareness. And in the morning, we say, what are we going to talk about? Oh, don't worry. We'll know when we get there. Let's just do our morning routine. We get there and we're like, oh, crystals. Okay.
But really, as we keep saying after every single video, we want to answer your questions. We want to present to you what you want to know. So, and we're excited to share. We have a lot of information, a lot of experience through our own lives of things that have been really meaningful and really transformative in our own lives, and we want to share that. But we don't know exactly what you want to know. So please, please, please write to us. Ask us any questions. It doesn't matter what is on, as Ram Krishnan Singh said. We're happy to share.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Yeah. So we'll see you all on Monday with our crystal meditation. Have a beautiful weekend, and we'll see you Monday.
Yeah.
Sat.
Waheguru Ji,
Waheguru
Waheguru
Ji
Ji
Ka
Ka Khalsa,
Khalsa,
Waheguru
Waheguru
Ji
Ji
Ki
Ki
Fateh.
Fateh. Satnam.